like, oh, that's it, like I wanted more. I'm enjoying this experience. And that's something that as a pageant fan I really like, because we often think of interviews and Q&A as something stressful, when in reality, as I was telling you earlier, it's an opportunity for you to show your skills, but also to allow people to get to know you and your values a little better. Hello everyone, welcome once again to my channel. My name is Luis Portelles, and for today's video we have a very special reaction because we are actually going to be talking about some of the preliminary introductions that we were just presented by the Miss Universe Philippines organization. Now, for those of you out there who know me, you know that this is the challenge that I've been waiting for, because Q&A and interviews is pretty much my favorite part of the entire pageant. Unfortunately, because of the time zone difference, I actually missed the first live stream that was programmed for the original interviews. However, one of you guys was kind enough to reach through my Instagram DMs and send me the videos. So for today's video, I will be sharing with you my top 12 picks for the preliminary interview challenge. For each one of them, I will be giving you some of my comments, some of my feedback as well, about the things that I liked and the things that I didn't. And what I'd like to know is if you guys agree or not with me. So by all means, go down in the comment section and express yourself. I'm also going to apologize in advance because you guys, I'm a little sick. I was actually kind of hesitating if I should do this video or not. But because I love this so much, I told myself, Luis, you gotta get it together and push through it. So the only thing that I'm gonna ask from you is that if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to leave a like. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this one almost every single day. And without further ado, my friends, let's get into today's video. I really hope that you enjoy it. Be strong. Alright everyone, so here we go for number 12 on my list. I'm gonna start with Megan DeGal, which has turned to be one of the dark horses of the competition so far, that within the last few challenges has been really on the rise. In the very beginning of her interview, Megan seemed to be a little bit stressed, which is perfectly normal considering the scenario where you find yourself. You could even hear through the microphone the heavy breath and the fact that she was kind of like shaking a little bit. But as the answers were progressing, you know, as the interview was advancing, you could feel her coming into her element and just being a little bit more confident, a little bit more at ease, and it really paid off very well for her in the long run. What I like the most about Megan is that even when she is under pressure, when she is stressed, she is able to stay calm and keep it together because she was really eloquent with her delivery. And that's very important because it doesn't matter how complex or how simple your answers are, the most important part is that the audience must be able to receive the message, to understand it and make sense out of it. An answer in particular that I really liked for Megan was the one that she provided for the Lazada question about the sanitary pads for women, because I thought that it was a little bit edgier, something that not everyone will have the courage to talk about on a national platform, and at the same time it was very pro-feminist, it was very open-minded and progressive. So for those reasons, Megan definitely had to make my list. Number 11 on my list is actually no stranger to this channel, the beautiful Jasmine OMalley, representing for Manila. From the moment that she stepped into the interview room, you could feel her aura. She is like all smiles, she has like this very commanding presence, but at the same time she's very warm, very welcoming. From the moment that she started answering the questions, you could feel that Jasmine was really engaging with the judges, and that was just like such an effortless conversation. I like some of the things that she included, you know, such as trusting the process. You know, it just shows that this woman is not necessarily a constructed person, or, you know, the people who plan everything in advance. She tends to go with the flow and just deal with things as they come. Something that I already knew about Jasmine is that she has a big sense of humor, and this is one of the most precious traits about her. I was glad to see that she was able to incorporate that as well within the interview, especially when she said, for example, that she was most beautiful to her mom's eyes, and that hopefully for the judges as well. That made me smile for a little bit. And overall, you know, this is really the vibe that I'm going for. I like to have people who are confident, but at the same time that don't feel too structured, and that they're just having a good time enjoying themselves, you know, because that's what Q&A should be all about. The last thing about OMalley that I really liked was the fact that she mixed both English and Tagalog, because it's very important that although you're still within a national context, it's very important that you're able to showcase that yes, you're able to represent the Philippines internationally, but that first and foremost you are still Filipina and you're representing for your people and you're able to communicate with them. I really like that element, so nothing but props and love for Jasmine. Number 10 on my list, we have another candidate that is familiar with my channel, and I'm talking about Sammaria Santamaria. What I like the most about Sam is that first of all, she looks so beautiful, and lately for every single challenge, I've seen a level of confidence in Sam that it wasn't there in the very beginning. I don't know if she was just playing it low-key or she was keeping it for later, but definitely she has come out of her shell and I'm enjoying every single moment of it. What I've noticed about Sam is that she had this strategy that she keeps her answers very concise but also very precise. For each one of the questions, she never used the maximum time. However, she was able to hit all of the elements of the answer that were expected from her. Her overall aura and the way that she behaved herself on stage, it made me think a little bit of Pia and also of Eva Peron. I don't know if you guys are familiar with her, but even like the look, the hair, everything was reminding me of Eva. I guess that what I'm trying to say is that because she had like this very confident aura but also so calm, so approachable and so relatable, this is one of the reasons why I believe that Sam really excelled in this particular challenge. At this point, this girl, we need to keep an eye on her. She is no longer a dark horse, she is a threat within this competition. Number 9 on the list, we have a very refreshing surprise because we are talking about Chella Falconer. The first thing that I enjoyed about Chella is how effortless and how excited she seemed to be in that room. Not only she was very conversational with the judges right before the interview started, but even at the end of it, she was like, oh, that's it, like I wanted more, I'm enjoying this experience. And that's something that as a pageant fan, I really like, because we often think of interviews and Q&A as something stressful, when in reality, as I was telling you earlier, it's an opportunity for you to show your skills, but also to allow people to get to know you and your values a little better. So I feel like Chella did the most out of this opportunity. Just like I said previously with Sam, I saw a level of confidence in Chella that I did not see there before. So definitely something changed, something has shifted, and this girl feels very commanding right now. Like she's here to conquer the competition, and those elements even translated to the way that she was able to answer each and every single one of the questions. She sounded sure of herself, she sounded very confident, but also had very impactful answers, especially the endings. Once again, the answer that I enjoyed the most was the one about the Lazada app, because she sounded inspired and like she knew what she was talking about, and overall had a very positive message for every single Filipina out there. So that was an amazing interview. Number 8 on my list, we have my love, my friend, Victoria Vasquez Vincent. And once again, this was a very refreshing surprise to see Victoria, because I remember even since like the top 100 once announced, a lot of people were giving critiques to Victoria, saying that she looked a little bit too harsh, like she looked older in her photos, like the makeup and this and that. But the way that Victoria presents herself on video, on camera, is just like so soft, so delicate, that honestly, I just look at her and I just want to protect her at all costs. As usual, this was no surprise. Her communication skills were just on point. Victoria knows how to deliver an answer so efficiently and hit every single mark of the questions. And something that she's very good at is at personalizing the answer. She's going to include elements that touch her personal experience, or maybe like her growing up story, or stuff that people will ultimately relate to and that will allow them to connect with the answer on a more emotional level. I really like how she approached the question about environmental issues, government, or poverty in the Philippines, because she was able to justify it very, very well. I don't know if I would have gone for the same element myself, but the way that she explained it just made sense, and that's what really matters. At the end of it all, you can tell that the Lazada question threw her a little bit off. She wasn't very sure at first, but she was able to catch up and include an answer that I know for a fact that is very true to Victoria. She said that she will select a camera from Lazada because it allows you to capture moments, and those of you who know Victoria or have been following her for a while, you know how much this girl loves photography but also videography. So yeah, that was very genuine and I loved it. Mwah. Number 7 on my list, we have the amazing Janella Joy Quaton. And this girl is another one of the candidates who has a very soft personality. However, don't underestimate her, because she has a big contrast when it comes to her personality and the way that she provides answers to the questions. Janella, in my opinion, was one of the most impactful ones during this competition. The way that she, especially the way that she ends every single one of the answers, is just like a mic drop. And she has this ability that she's able to do it in a very organic way, but also that feels very conversational. So it's almost like you're having a conversation with a friend and suddenly at the end of the sentence she drops a bomb on you and you're like, whoa, Just like I was telling you for Victoria, Janella is another one of the girls who is able as well to include a lot of personal experience within her answers, and that she's able to elaborate, you know, so that people can understand better where she's coming from and can relate to it a little bit more. So in my opinion, she's gonna be one of the threats of this competition, because obviously her communication skills are remarkable, and we already saw during the runway challenge how good she was. So she also has a technical side of it. So we'll see what happens during the preliminaries and during coronation night, but I'm very excited. Last but not least, I have to give her props because she was the first candidate that I saw that spoke publicly and without fear about government corruption. And we know that this is a touchy subject. Very often is something that the organization and even vloggers, we tend to avoid when we're having interviews with the candidates, because we don't want to put them in a position where it might be compromising. However, Janella went at it without fear, and she was very honest about everything that she said. So you know, she has earned my respect. That's all I can say. At number 6, we have a candidate that I know a lot of you are expecting, and this is Steffi Aberra. And although a lot of people give Steffi a hard time for her communication skills when it comes to Q&A and interview, she was actually very talkative, very friendly, and very welcoming as soon as she entered the room. What I liked the most about her interview was that she had a very good flow when it comes to the answers, and also that she had all the impactful elements that you would expect from this type of competition. Every single one of the answers that she provided made sense. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Is she the best in Q&A? Is her delivery perfect? No. Steffi still needs to improve, still needs to maybe work a little bit on how she plans and delivers her ideas. I feel like to a certain extent the problem here might be that Steffi translates the answers in her head, which it doesn't always pays off, because the delivery in Filipino and Tagalog is not the same as in English, and sometimes can be a little bit clumsy. But once again, let's bring it back to the positive. She seems very genuine and very implicated, and she also speaks with a lot of passion when she is on stage and when she is presenting her overall ideas. In my opinion, honestly, people give her too much of a hard time. Yes, there are things to improve, but sometimes people tend to overreact. Now we're going to number 5 on the list, and this is Kisses Delavin. In my opinion, Kisses had such a good presentation when it comes to her interview. From the moment that she walked into the room, she was just like so happy to be there. She was all smiles. And that's a trait that I always retain about Kisses. Doesn't matter where she goes, doesn't matter who she's with, she's always going to be positive, she's always going to be smiling and showing a positive side. Just like some of the other candidates, Kisses is one of the girls who always had answers based on her personal experience, meaning that she's always going to talk about the way that she would like to inspire other teenagers, other women, men, doesn't matter. She just has like this very personal approach. I also feel like because she has been through so much at such a young age, you know, from growing up in the show business industry, this girl has seen a lot of things, and I'm glad to see that she is able to share that knowledge and that she is so generous, does not have a filter when it comes to putting those things out there. One thing that caught my attention is that she was one of the few candidates that said yes to the question about keep making mistakes, but she was able to justify it in a way that really convinced me. I was like, okay girl, you saved that. Because once again, she went with a personal experience, talking about all the mistakes that she had to make within the industry in order to make it to where she is today. So this proves that the questions that the organization are providing are really just, you can really defend it the way that you want, for as long as you sound convinced, as you sound right, and as you have enough arguments to really address the question and sound convincing. The last element that I liked about her interview was that Kisses was able to acknowledge her privilege. And this is something that perhaps we don't talk about enough. The fact that yes, she had a lot of opportunity, but also because she comes from a privileged background. What I like the most is that she is able to acknowledge that and not only put it out there, but also use it for a greater cause, for a greater good. She talked about how she might use her platform, how she might use the things that she already has in order to uplift other people and make it easier for them. In other words, it's almost as she was accepting this responsibility, and she embraces it, knowing that she is willing to do everything that she can in order to help other people. On a personal note, what I would say about Kisses is that she has impressed me in every single sense of the word, and she has exceeded my expectations so far for every single one of these challenges. So good job. Number 4 on the list is another candidate that is no particular surprise for this challenge. Of course, I'm talking about Aina Burnos. And the first thing that struck me as I was looking at her is how calm she was able to present herself as soon as she entered the room. But when you think about it, it makes sense because Ayin really works and presents herself on social media all the time. She is used to being in front of people, maybe not physically all the time because a lot of the work that she does is virtual. However, she is used to this social interaction. We also know that this girl has remarkable communication skills, and of course she was able to use each one of those skills for this particular challenge. What I like the most about Ayin is that she is able to answer the questions very well. She does not leave an empty space or like a room for doubt whatsoever, but she also has a way of approaching the answers that turns out to be very positive, very uplifting, like it adds to your self-worth. And I feel like that's something that we need more of, especially during crazy times like a pandemic. Lastly, Ayin just gave me a very confident aura, and I feel like she has fully embraced her destiny of being in this competition, regardless of any pushback that anyone or any bashers has ever given her. She is just here to conquer, and I'm sure that this girl will surprise us. So let's keep watching out for her. Number 3 on my list, it's a girl that actually I was really not expecting at all, like, to see doing this good, and I'm talking about Angela Okol. The first thing that came to mind was like, from the moment that she started talking, I was like, this girl is like so eloquent. Like, she could talk for hours and I would just be there listening to her like patiently. She was that good. Very engaging, very substantial answers, and she was able to justify each one of the questions with very good arguments. She had a healthy balance of insightful answers but also very accessible, in the sense that, you know, sometimes when a candidate gets like too deep into the answers and they sound like so inspired that it becomes kind of abstract and you can no longer understand what they're saying. I feel like she adjusted to a communication level that was accessible for everyone, regardless of your background, of your age, of any education level. Everyone was able to understand what Angela was communicating. I'm not gonna lie that I wanted to see a little bit more of personality from Angela, because this challenge just proved me that she has the communication skills. Now I would like to see the rest. But overall, she was a very refreshing surprise, and she delivered everything that the judges and the organization was expecting. So I'm pretty sure that she will do well when it comes to this challenge, and hopefully it will continue for the preliminaries and the coronation night. We'll see. Alright everyone, so now we are getting close to the final top 2. And of course, on the second position, I have the beautiful Maureen Wroblewitz. This is no surprise because everyone was just going crazy for her interview. The first thing that came to mind was how approachable, down to earth, and just honest and sincere this girl seems. From the beginning, she seemed to be a little bit stressed, a little bit anxious. And once again, like I've told you guys, this is not something that I'm worried about, because it's normal in a situation like this that it's so important that you would actually feel a little nervous. What matters the most is that she was able to pick it up, get it together, and just focus on delivering strong, impactful, cohesive answers. And that's everything that we got from Maureen from beginning to end. At some point, she got so confident that she was even laughing with the judges. So, you know, that's when you know that the girl is at ease. And these elements also translate through her facial expressions, but also through her body language. Everything about Maureen just looked so put together, so at ease. You can look at her eyes and you feel the honesty. You can look at her smile and you feel the humility. I mean, honestly, we already knew that she was stunning, like physically speaking. Of course, she's a model. She won a reality show about it. But I feel like something that we don't give enough credit to Maureen for is her beautiful personality as well. So definitely this was a moment that made her shine. She wasn't scared to talk about political issues, just like Janella. So for me, that was already like big respect right there. And last but not least, I feel like Maureen is one of the girls who also was able to exceed everyone's expectation when it comes not only to this challenge, but to the entire competition. Because we were all putting her into the box of the model or the reality star. But she proved that she has what it takes to perhaps wear the crown and the sash of the Philippines. And last but not least, my number 1 position goes to someone that I love, that I adore, and that I am so freaking excited and happy for, Katrina Dimaranan. And I'm telling you that because I can confidently say that she is my number 1 pick without everyone coming for me and telling me that I'm biased. Guys, Katrina just delivered excellence on stage. The first thing that came to mind as she was walking into the room was how this girl was able to adapt to feedback that was provided to her. Because if I think of the previous interview challenge, we would remember that Katrina was often criticized for being too much, for being too loud, for being too much out there. But for this presentation in particular, we saw a completely different side of Katrina. She came into the room and it felt like she had it together, like she knew what she was doing, like she was in control. But what's even better is that she did not have to compromise her essence for this. For me, this is just the proof that I needed, that Katrina is the perfect blend of physical beauty, but also personality, charisma, and all of the qualities that are needed to become the next Miss Universe Philippines. You could feel her presence as she was walking into the room. Everything from the look, she was commanding, she was fierce. I mean, like the glamazon, the color of her outfit was just everything, and I'm just like so happy with every single thing that she did on stage. Now, when it comes to her actual interview, I really like the selection of words. For the question about God, she started by saying, I think, and then she quickly transitioned into I believe. For me, that just consolidated the power of this woman to provide an impactful answer. She is not leaving any room for doubt here. She is really covering all the bases. And even within that answer, she had the care to include the phrase, my God, in the sense that she left room out there for other people and other religions. For me personally, that's just very inclusive. The rest of the answers were very on brand for Katrina, very personal, very organic, and I like how she was able to even include her advocacy once again and talk about homelessness. This is something that is central when it comes to beauty queens. The advocacy is something that should be the core of everything that they do, but sometimes tend to be a little forgotten. So I'm glad to see her included once again. So when Katrina is being inspiring, positive, uplifting, honestly, what else can I ask from this woman? She already has it all, and in my opinion, she is my next Miss Universe Philippines. So you know what I'm saying? Let's just manifest it and put it out there into the universe. Alright everyone, so there you have it. That was pretty much my top 12 candidates for the preliminary interview challenge of Miss Universe Philippines 2021. I'm going to tell you that this was a very difficult task. Honestly, there were other candidates that I wanted to include on the list as well. But for a matter of time, a matter of, keeping things concise and interesting, sometimes I do have to compromise. Also, I was not feeling my best today, so I told myself, you know what, I'll just do the best that I can. And this is what it is, guys. So I really hope that you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to let me know down in the comments if you agree with my opinion, with my feedback. Even if you think differently, go ahead and let me know, because I always learn from you guys as well. While you're at it, don't forget to leave a like on the video so that it gets recommended to more people. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this one almost every single day. And last but not least, come here and give me a hug, because that's a little tradition on this channel. You know that I love you, that I appreciate you. Thank you for coming and spending a few moments out of your day here with me. And until I see you next time, please stay safe, be kind to one another, sending you all my love, all my kisses, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.